What's up, y'all? This is Henny. Hey, yo, it's 2020. Yo, what up? How y'all doing, man? Happy New Year. Listen, this year has already started off busy as hell. But I promise, I told myself, I said, listen, make sure you get more content out there this year for those who are watching, those who are subscribing, those who have been supporting since day one. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about the best, in my opinion, options for your digital audio workstation in 2020. Let's be real. How are y'all, though? I mean, how are you? I mean, are you starting the year off with some positive goals? Do you have it in mind what you want to do, what you're willing to accept where you are, all of the things in between? Because I'm telling you, this year is just all about going and not looking back and not focusing so much on how to make everything so perfect. We're not in that space right now. I think more and more people want to know just who you are and what you're about, and if you're going to live up to that for yourself. Because if you live up to that for yourself, then most people will support you anyway. So, anyway, let's talk about these digital audio workstations, these DAWs, which ones that I really feel like are the ones that I would suggest in 2020. You know how we do it. Let's go!
The business.
My very first recommendation for anybody who wants a full-fledged digital audio workstation in 2020 that can work on an iPad but can also work on your phone is Cubasis 3. I can tell you, I've been using this app for some years now, and now that they've updated it with a lot of great updates to Cubasis 3, specifically when it comes to grouping tracks, making it more efficient for AUV3 plugins, and even their media management. Those are some of the three things that I was looking for an update. And they've made it even better now that you can use it on your iPhones. So now if you want a DAW that you can take with you in full scale form like this on my iPad Pro, but then export that to your iPhone just to be on the go, or vice versa, you'll be able to have that flexibility. And I love the fact that I can group tracks now. I love the fact that even the layout can be changed up a bit so that you can have it set up in maybe even a thicker format, a wider format. All the things that make a DAW easily to work with. And I can tell you right now that this DAW, it gets the job done. And this is definitely my first choice for a DAW in 2020. If you want to do recording of audio, if you want to be able to record in your MIDI and do things like looping and other things from AUV3 plugins. I know I've talked in the past about, thinking of things a little bit more modular, but it only makes it easier when you have an all-in-one app that can house these things. Right here I have this record, which is basically the start of a record that became a Grammy nomination for this year on J. Cole and Dreamville's Revenge of the Dreamers 3. So this was recorded in 2017, I believe, 2016 even. No, I think it was 2017. But let me play you a little bit of this and just show you how easily things work in Cubasis 3. You can see all of these tracks. I can group them easily. I can do whatever I need to do. I can export this easily. And what happened was we started this track. I used Cubasis 2, and then I exported that directly to WAV files, and we sent it to Pro Tools, and we redid the drums, and we sped the sample up. and me and my young mentee Groove, we went in and we got it done, and now it's nominated for a Grammy next week. So I'm excited. That's my fifth Grammy nomination, and it's always good to see that projects done directly on iPads and iOS devices can get you to the highest esteem of music honor. So, what can I say? This has worked for me and it's worked professionally. And the biggest thing for me is the fact now that I can use it on the phone as well. So, that is Cubasis 3, and that is my first recommendation. So my second recommendation is what I talked about, things being modular, and that is AUM. Now, I've talked about this app before. It comes from a developer who's made one of my favorite apps for music, Audio Share. Even if you're not into music and you're more into film and you're more into other things, Audio Share is definitely a place to house your audio files. And when he built the AUM sequencer mixer, it changed the game how to do things modular. And I know a lot of people subscribe to this type of digital audio workstation where you can go here and you can just build whatever you need. You don't have to have everything so set up in a digital audio workstation format. Whether it's bringing in any type of AUV3, whether it's bringing in hardware from audio, whether you're bringing in MIDI, you'll be able to just piece by piece bring in files, loop them, use the loopers of the specific apps in their own separate channel, and then link them back into what other things you can do with all the other plugins. So if I wanted to go ahead and say okay, let me do an audio extension, actually I would probably start with some type of drum. I would go to Enter App Audio and probably start with one of my favorite drum apps, Koala. I have Koala Sampler. I've showed this before. Maybe bring in some audio units like let's say D1, and you can just really start to build. Maybe bring in a Moog, Model D, and what you'll see is you can start to just build a track out that way in a modular sense. And so it's going to take a little bit getting used to trying to figure out the best ways to find your flow and format when you go into AUM, because it's basically a blank canvas that you can build on top of, versus something like Cubasis 3 that has everything laid out for you. You just kind of add things and they lay themselves out accordingly. And so for somebody who isn't as well versed in digital audio workstations as somebody who's been using DAWs forever, I would say this AUM is a little bit more advanced when it comes to the thought process of your flow. But you can really have some great ideas and get some great things going if that's what you're trying to do. So if you're looking to get into music and you have some type of knowledge of, DAWs, Reason, Pro Tools, FL, Logic, whatever it may be, Cubase, you'll have no issues starting to use something like AUM, finding a workflow, and getting straight to that. So my second recommendation is definitely AUM. And make sure you have Audio Share because it works hand in hand with that app. So, yeah. And listen, my third and final recommendation for 2020, specifically for those who are just getting started in music production, would have to be GarageBand. When it comes to learning instruments, when it comes to learning how to sequence, Apple doesn't make it any easier for you than using something like GarageBand for your phone, for your iPad, or even for your Mac. I know there's a ton of kids out there who are just getting started, and I would say, listen, start with GarageBand. Learn the instruments that you like. Learn what sequencing is all about. Learn how to put certain instruments together to create a track, to create a beat. And you can go as far as just getting started all the way to being a professional, like somebody like myself, and still use GarageBand to be able to get your ideas flowing fast and, just really streamlined. And then it works well in tandem with Logic or GarageBand on a Mac. And then, you can easily export your sounds and do some things that are a little bit more professional. But I tell you this, it's like, there's the highly advanced guys who want to know, what the latest plugins are, what the latest AUV3s are, what the latest everything is, right? And they're going to be the ones that are on top of everything and, telling you what are the best, new apps, new things to do. There's the guys that are in the middle who, are still trying to figure out their sound, their ideas, and are going to stick to, what is comfortable for them. And then they're going to be those that are just beginning who want to try out everything, but they'll probably just be very overwhelmed by just how much you can do on iOS devices in 2020. So I say all that to say, if you are a beginner and you don't know which DAW to go with, try GarageBand first. And if GarageBand feels good, then go ahead and try something like Cubasis 3, or maybe even try something like AUM and figure out your approach. But I can tell you, with these 3 different DAWs, you can be any type of music producer, beat maker, whether you're somebody who loves just beat making, playing pads, sampling, beat building or the like, or if you're somebody composing, and songwriting, maybe you're a singer-songwriter, you'll be able to have the options with any of these 3. And I want to make things more concise when I talk about the apps that I'm using, because there is so many options out there. And I know there's a lot of people who hit me up and say, I'm just getting started, or I'm just looking for the best one in 2020. What would you recommend? These are my 3. And I say that because, I've had success with all 3. And I've been doing things in a professional manner on iOS devices for the last 5 years. So, that's basically it. That's what we're talking about, making things easier for ourselves. I think a lot of us, we try to pull our hair out. Which hair we got left? Actually, fun fact, in 2020, I am not bald. It's probably weird to say, but hey, whatever. I have always, liked rocking a low cut. And for the last couple of years, I was like, it's just simpler to just hit it with the big razor or something. But yeah, I still have a full head of hair. Fun fact, 2020. Learning more about Henny every day, right? But all in all, I want to make things simpler. I want to give people options that make it easier and help you get things out of the way. So the products that I might talk about, the apps, the things that I'm using and working with, hopefully, I always make sure that it's helping me become simpler in my lifestyle. But I wanted to help you make it simpler for you and yours, because I truly believe this year is the year of just going for it in pure action. And, I spent a great amount of time with my family over the holidays, and it gave me some good moments to just refresh and reflect. And my sister-in-law, we had a conversation, and she's like, I think, more people need to ask for what they want in 2020. And I plead that to you as well. Ask for what you want. Ask for it to the universe. Ask for it to people, company to company. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want, even in a relationship, even in love. Ask for the things that you want, and don't be afraid to get hurt, because you'll find that if it's what you really want, and the world or a person or a company can't give it to you, it might not be the right time, it might not be the right place, it might not be the right person. But if you stay strong in your ask, if you stay strong in the way that you go about what you want out of your life, the right people will fall into place, and some of the wrong people will fall off. And you can't be worried about that. It might be, it might hurt a bit, but it's better to find what works for what you want out of life than to try to conform and let somebody or something control your life. Control your life, man. It's 2020. Go for it. Don't be so worked up about making it so perfect. I hope that helped. It's just something simple to kind of get y'all started and get me back started talking to y'all. So I'll be back soon. I'll be headed to the Grammys next week and pray for your boy. I'm hoping to get my second Grammy, and regardless of the outcome, I know that there's so much more to come in these next 10 years because I'm definitely on a 10-year plan right now. Happy New Year. I'll see y'all soon. And I'm out.